My own mom said I'd embarrass the family, then cut me off the guest list for my cousin's wedding. But before I share my story, please take a minute of your precious time to support our channel. Your support and love keeps us going. My coffee mug slips from my fingers and explodes against the kitchen tile, porcelain glittering across the floor like sleet. I don't move. My thumb keeps dragging down my phone screen, image after image of smiling faces in my aunt's sun-washed backyard. I count them, slowly, as if the total might change if I will it too. 41 guests. Cousins I haven't seen since homecomings. My mother's line sister from college. Even Great Aunt Pearl, steadying herself with a cane. Everyone is there except me. In every photo, cream table linens glow under the sun, coral and mint flowers climb out of glass vases, and champagne flutes catch the light. The caption calls it a long-planned surprise shower. Long planned. Planned without me. The sting is meaner because, just last month, I mailed Nia a handwritten card, pressed blossoms from my balcony tucked inside. I'd even offered to design her entire wedding suite. Invites, programs, menus, no invoice, just love. My Atlanta condo, warm a moment ago, feels suddenly air conditioner cold despite the spring shine pouring through the windows. The brightness turns harsh, like the truth. I wasn't overlooked. I was removed. I sink onto a stool, memories rushing in, uninvited and unstoppable. Thanksgiving comes back sharp. Aunt Loretta, voice carrying like church announcements, bragged across the dining room about Nia's promotion at the bank. Vice President at 31, she sang, palm lifted toward my younger cousin, like a spotlight. Knew that girl would soar. Then her smile slid to me and thinned. And Amara's still doing that little design thing, logos and such. That little thing paid for the keys in my pocket. That little thing put 4 national brands in my client book before my 30th. My parents nodded along, not unkind, just complicit, while the table arranged Nia as the second coming of excellence, right in front of me. Even when I mentioned the down payment I'd saved, $185,000 over 7 careful years, the conversation swerved back to the carats in Nia's ring. I unlock my phone again and tap Mom's contact before courage can drain out of me. She answers on the 4th ring. Amara? Baby, you alright? Her voice has that soft concern braided with judgment, the tone that says my feelings are already a problem. There was a bridal shower for Nia yesterday. I say evenly. Everyone was there. Why wasn't I invited? A pause like weighted cloth. Then a sigh. Oh, that. Loretta felt you have a way of making things about yourself. Nia deserved a day that was just hers. The word slap. Making things about myself? When have I ever? Please don't start, Amara. This is exactly the energy we hoped to avoid. Your cousin deserves celebration without extra. I straighten, realizing I'd been folded into myself. So, I'm extra now. I say quietly. That's the story? It's not personal. The phrase Mom uses when she wants my feelings placed in storage. Something inside stills. It isn't a misunderstanding. It's a decision. I'm calling Aunt Loretta. I say. Amara, don't. But I've already ended the call. Loretta picks up on the 2nd ring. No pleasantries, just clipped syllables. I was wondering when you'd call. Why wasn't I invited to Nia's shower? A beat. No apology, no excuse. You shouldn't be there. Nia deserves one day that's just hers. Just hers. As if my presence bends light the wrong way. I'm her only cousin, I say, and even as the words leave me they sound small. Blood has never guaranteed belonging. Listen. Her voice hardens. We've discussed it, wedding plans too. Don't make this bigger than it needs to be. Some relationships are already fragile. The threat isn't subtle. Push and you'll be pushed out. I walk to the window. Midtown spreads out below my building, glass and steel, trains murmuring somewhere underneath. Clarity lands with the view. My family likes the picture, not the people. I end the call without a goodbye. The silence isn't heavy now, it's bright. A blue jay lands on my balcony rail, feathers electric against the gray spring sky. It studies me then flits away. For the first time all morning, I wonder how it would feel to move that freely. A day later, my phone dings while I'm sketching icons for a new client. I almost ignore it. Deadlines don't care about feelings, but habit wins. A group text from Aunt Loretta flashes across the screen. Remember to bring Mia's flowers on Saturday. Glad we didn't invite Amara, less drama. My pencil freezes midline. The room tilts, then steadies. I blink, read it again. Not an oversight. A strategy. I take a screenshot before the bubble vanishes with a neat little whoosh. Deleted, but not before I caught it. The header shows the participants. Loretta, my mother, and Mia. Of course. The next morning I drive to my parents' house in the suburbs, that screenshot burning a hole in my pocket. Mom opens the door in gardening gloves, potting soil dusting her cheek. Amara? What a surprise. Come in, baby. I just put on a kettle. I follow her into the living room. The mantel is a mosaic of frames, Mia centered in most, me softened by glare or caught mid-blink. I got an interesting message yesterday, I say, pulling out my phone, and accidentally included text. The change in her face isn't shock, it's surrender. We agreed it would be easier this way, she says, smoothing invisible wrinkles from her slacks. Mia deserves a beautiful wedding without complications. Complications, I repeat. That's your word for me. Don't be dramatic, she chides gently, using the tone reserved for wayward daughters. Maybe make other plans that weekend in May. Other plans, I say evenly, while my cousin gets married at the Magnolia Monarch Hotel, the one with a 6-figure budget and a live string quartet. Her eyebrows rise. How do you know about the venue? Cousin Reva called about carpooling, I say. A flicker crosses her face. She assumed I'd be there. Silence opens like a sinkhole. Your father, and I think it's best, she says at last. Everyone agrees. What did you tell everyone? My voice is steadier than my hands. She looks away, picking at a loose thread. Just that you've always been sensitive when Nia gets attention. The hit lands low. Years of holidays where I clapped politely while Nia was toasted. Years of having my work folded into the tablecloth. You're erasing me from the family narrative, I say, the truth crystallizing. You've been telling folks I'm difficult, and now they believe it. That's not fair, she protests, but her eyes won't meet mine. Then she tries a different lever. I hope you'll make the right choice, she says, glancing toward the window. Your father and I have been helping with your property taxes. If you stir this up. If I stir it up, I echo a laugh scraping out. You mean if I ask not to be erased? This is exactly why Loretta thought it best, she says, voice tightening. Everything becomes a spectacle with you. I leave without a hug, driving aimlessly while the city blurs into a string of lights. 3 client deadlines drift past while I sit at my desk, hands frozen above a tablet. 3 days of potential revenue evaporate while I stare at a screen, waiting for someone in my family to text that it was all a mix-up. No one does. Sanaa shows up that evening with jollof in a foil pan and a bottle of crisp white. She listens, really listens while I pour it all out. That's emotional manipulation, she says, refilling my glass. They're gaslighting you, rewriting the story so you're the problem when they're the ones closing the door. Her words land like water on parched ground. Loretta and your mom are tag-teaming the narrative, she goes on. Classic toxic family stuff. Later, on the balcony, the city lights shimmer on like sequins. A blue jay perches on the rail, watches me, then lifts off into the dusk. I hold my warm glass and weigh 2 roads, show up and force a scene at the wedding, or step back and build something that's mine. The family I knew is receding. Is it worth fighting for a seat at a table that keeps shrinking my chair? The next Tuesday morning, Nia's engagement photos flood my feed, her smile tuned like a chorus, her fiancé gazing on cue under a canopy of burnished leaves. The caption slices, celebrating with those who truly show up, keeping it intimate with the people who've always been there. My phone buzzes with private messages from cousins who barely know my middle name. Why are you making drama during Nia's special time? Family supports family. Aunt Loretta is so disappointed. I set the phone down, pulse thudding in my ears. The accusations make sense only if the story has changed. They're recasting me as the cousin who refused to attend, not the one who was never invited. That evening, Grandma calls while I'm rinsing plates. "Baby, I never thought you'd refuse to support your cousin's big day." The plate almost slips. "Grandma, I wasn't invited." "That's not what Loretta told me," she says, voice firming. "Said you couldn't set aside jealousy for one day." I stand at the sink after we hang up, water running from warm to cold over my hands. The story about me is congealing without me. By week's end, Hallie Creative cancels our spring campaign. The email is polished and pointed. "We've heard you can be difficult to collaborate with. We need a partner aligned with our culture." 3 days later, Hearthline Home pulls out of exploratory talks. The 2 losses carve $34,000 out of my quarter. I draw the lines like a map. Hallie's marketing lead plays golf with my uncle. Hearthline's founder sings alto in Loretta's choir. Sleep becomes a rumor. I spend nights rebuilding my portfolio site instead of resting, nudging spacing, testing type pairs, claiming pixels. That evening, Sanaa and I sit on the balcony, the city lights glimmering beneath us, Thai food containers half empty between our chairs. She scrolls through her calendar. "I've got a shoot in Charleston in 3 weeks. Come with me. We'll make it a working vacation. I could use an assistant." The offer pricks tears I didn't expect. While my family invents excuses to leave me out, my friends are building room for me. My phone vibrates, a message from Jamal, a college friend. "Decline Nia's invite. Not showing up somewhere you're not welcome." I stare at the words until they blur. Someone chose me, and that changes everything. The next morning, I walk into a networking breakfast, chest lifted, and talk about my design business like I haven't in months. 3 people request follow-ups before the coffee cools. A shift has begun, quiet but solid. 3 weeks later, Charleston stretches wide and salt blue in front of me. At a cozy bookstore by the marina, I meet Malik, the owner, with an easy laugh and questions that don't feel like small talk. By our 3rd coffee, he says, "You should see my porch at sunset. I restored an old coastal house. The light is perfect for someone with your eye." Standing there that evening, watching the sky melt orange into the Atlantic, I think, what if the answer isn't begging for a seat at their table? What if it's building my own? 2 months pass. Morning light filters through Malik's tall windows, gilding the rough wood table where 18 plates will soon be set. On my laptop sits the draft of an invitation, elegant script paired with clean type. "Too safe?" I ask. Malik leans close, coffee warm in the air. "It feels like you," confident without shouting. I smile and adjust the spacing. For weeks, I pour myself into planning. Not a rebuttal to exclusion, but a true celebration. Hand-pressed floral prints, playlists curated with care, menus lettered by hand. May 12th, I say, tracing the date on my screen. Far enough from Mia's wedding. No one can say I'm competing. Does it matter what they say? Malik asks gently. I close the file and exhale. It matters that I know why I'm doing this. It's not about them anymore. For the first time since those shower photos, joy rises unshadowed. I'm creating, not reacting. The phone rings. Aunt Loretta's name. I almost let it go, then decide I'm done hiding. "Hello," I answer, steady. Her voice could chill steel. "What's this I hear about you throwing some vacation party during wedding season? Take down those social posts immediately." "What posts?" I frown. Sanaa's photography page. Your save the date. A seaside villa. May 12th. My stomach dips. But Mia's wedding is in June. "Oh, didn't you know?" She cuts in, syrup sweet. "The date was moved weeks ago. May 12th at the Magnolia Monarch. Everyone knows except you. So your little party falls the same day as Nia's wedding. Family will have to pick sides." Panic tries to claw in. Should I change dates? Apologize for something I didn't cause? But as she rattles reasons, something inside me hardens. I glance at the invitation design glowing on my laptop, Malik rinsing mugs at the sink, the space where I've been welcomed, without conditions. "I won't reschedule my joy to fit your judgment," I say quietly. What did you just? The date stays. Whoever wants to come will follow their heart. You've made your choice clear. I end the call before she can spit another word. Conflict. Malik asks gently. I nod. Apparently, Nia's wedding is now the same day as ours. His brows lift. Do you want to change it? The question floats, heavy. But the answer, when it comes, is light. No. We're keeping our date. He smiles, no explanation needed. That's the difference between chosen family and blood. One performs, the other accepts. By afternoon, Sanaa texts, saw your invite design, stunning. Consider my photography services your gift. Within hours, a group chat sparks to life, friends swapping flight confirmations, meal ideas, playlists. Jamal offers to handle wine pairings. Gianna volunteers flowers from local markets. Malik pulls up spreadsheets that evening, calmly tracking lodging and car rentals. You focus on the art, he says, handing me swatches for table linens. I'll handle logistics. Side by side, we're building something no one in my family would even recognize. Not reaction, but intention. Family messages start buzzing like gnats. Loretta sends a paragraph about selfish choices. Sanaa replies with a photo of the ocean front. Mom texts, how could you do this? Malik slides me a color palette to distract me. My friends act as a shield, deflecting the barbs with light. A week before our gathering, my phone lights with a name I didn't expect. My cousin Kendra. Grandma's asking questions. Loretta's story is cracking. I read it twice, stunned. The next day, Uncle Terrence texts, something's off. Nia keeps changing her version. Their carefully woven tale is unraveling, stitch by stitch. When Grandma calls, her voice is smaller than I remember. Baby, tell me your side of this wedding business. Relief crashes through me. For the first time, someone actually wants my story. Another call beeps through, Mom. I let it ring out. Later, I play her voicemail, her tone strained. We need to talk compromise. Meet tomorrow. Urgent. The knock comes early Tuesday, 3 days before my celebration. Through the peephole, Mom clutching her purse, knuckles pale, Loretta beside her, handbag dangling like a weapon. I almost don't open it, but hiding has never been my endgame. Amara, sweetheart. Mom's voice is too bright as she steps in. Loretta trails, eyes scanning my living room where sketches and menus are neatly spread. This has gone far enough, she declares, skipping greetings. They sit. I remain standing. Mom speaks first. We'd like to propose a compromise. You can attend Nia's reception, just the evening part. If you cancel your event. Her eyes flick to Loretta. 2 events the same day divide the family, Loretta says. You're forcing sides. Mom leans forward, voice dropping. Your grandmother's health can't take this conflict. The manipulation is so transparent, I almost laugh. Instead, I walk to my drafting table, lift a leather portfolio, and lay it open. Watercolor sketches, hand-lettered menus, place cards in amber and sage. This is what Malik and I planned. 18 guests. No spectacle. We chose the date for the light at sunset, weeks before I knew about Nia's wedding. Mom frowns. Why didn't you tell us? I slide out another folder, and used invitation mock-ups. Because you excluded me. I assumed you didn't care. Shock ripples across her features. Amara, we never meant. I'm not asking anyone to choose. I cut in. You made yours months ago. This isn't about Nia. It isn't about you. It's about living authentically. Loretta shoots to her feet, stalking to the wall where client mock-ups hang. This doesn't change anything. Nia's wedding is the real event. Yours is dress up. Clarity snaps into place. No, Auntie. This is real. These designs? They're my profession. The same one you've dismissed as a hobby. The one that bought this condo. I slide a brochure toward them. 3 national brands hired me based on this work. Mom sinks deeper into the couch, eyes caught on a photo of Malik and me at his villa. For the first time, she seems to see. Were we really that cruel? She whispers. Loretta snorts, grabbing her purse. Ridiculous. Fiona's wedding costs $100,000, with 200 guests. That's a real celebration. I smile, not unkind. That sounds perfect for her. I hope she feels truly seen there. The door slams behind Loretta. Mom lingers, smaller than I've ever seen her. You taught me I wasn't worth including, I say, soft but steady. I taught myself I was worth celebrating. Her phone buzzes. She pales. Your cousin Daria is asking if she can come to your ceremony instead. I shrug. People talk, the same way they did when you decided to erase me. After she leaves, I water my balcony herbs, wondering which side of the divide she'll stand on come Saturday. That evening, Malik calls from across town, voice bright. Guess what? Modern Celebrations wants to feature our ceremony. Intimate, authentic, no flash. They love it. I lean against the rail. A blue jay lands nearby, feathers blazing. 7 weeks ago, I would have been trembling. Now calm fills the space. The story is shifting, I whisper. For the first time since this began, I feel not wounded or enraged, just free. 7 weeks later, Malik shows me the numbers on his tablet. Our wedding photo has racked up over 90,000 likes. Comments flood in, design bloggers calling our choices a blueprint for modern authenticity. I laugh, remembering all those dinners where Nia's name floated in champagne bubbles while mine disappeared under the tablecloth. Now strangers are praising the vision my family once dismissed. My client calendar swells overnight. 3 major brands reach out, doubling my roster. An editor from Southern Weddings quarterly emails, asking not just for pictures, but for an interview about my design work. I look at Malik across the balcony as Atlanta glows behind us. They try to silence me to keep me from stealing focus. I murmur. And now, I'm in the spotlight without even trying. The doorbell rings. A courier hands me an envelope scrawled in Loretta's script. Inside, a curt letter demanding I decline the magazine feature, out of respect for Nia's privacy. My hands don't shake. Instead, I slide the letter back, grab a fresh envelope, and tuck in a copy of my latest portfolio spread with a note. I'm not competing. I'm completing my own story. Days later, Sana calls, voice bursting. The showcase is confirmed. 30 designers and you're the headliner. My friends have organized an exhibition at a restored estate outside Seattle, spotlighting creators who value substance over spectacle. At the opening, Sana lifts her glass, to writing ourselves into stories worthy of us. The room erupts, and I stand in a crowd that celebrates rather than shrinks me. A month later, Malik and I trade my condo for a modest downtown loft. Smaller, but full of sun and possibility. My schedule is packed with speaking gigs and client meetings, all anchored in authenticity. One afternoon, as I'm arranging prints for the office wall, the buzzer rings. I open the door to see Loretta, with Nia hovering behind her. Loretta strides in, stiff-backed. Was all this necessary? The magazines? The showcase? Were you that desperate to prove a point? I study her face. For the first time, I feel only compassion. This was never about you, I say softly. It was the first time I celebrated without worrying how you'd twist it. They leave not long after, Loretta bristling, Nia casting a look I can't quite decode. As the door closes, I stand in my new space, plants catching the afternoon light, Malik humming in the kitchen. And I think, maybe reconciliation requires both sides to admit the wound. Or maybe the truest healing comes when you water your own garden, let it bloom, and let others decide whether to step inside or keep walking by. Either way, I'm no longer waiting at a table that never had a seat for me. In the end, Amara discovered that freedom doesn't come from begging for a place at someone else's table. It comes from building your own and inviting only those who bring love with them. Her journey wasn't about revenge, but about rewriting the narrative and proving that authenticity shines brighter than appearances. If this story resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that their worth isn't defined by family approval. Drop a comment with your thoughts, subscribe for more inspiring stories, and let's keep lifting up voices that refuse to be silenced.